Good morning and welcome to Rapid TV's continuously evolving social-political and general interest show we call Korero. I am your regular host, Nkamian John the Beloved, also known to many as the Controversial. Now, there has been an outpour of varied reactions since former military head of state, General Ibrahim Babangida, retired, revealed that late Kashimawo Moshood Abiola won the June 12, 1993 presidential election during the launch of his autobiography titled A Journey in Service. Now, Babangida admitted that the annulment of the election was the most challenging decision of his life. Today, on the show, we will be looking at some of the reactions that have trailed General Ibrahim Babangida's revelation with a view to put to context the interpretations of the various sections of his autobiography, that book that virtually every Nigerian want to read. When we did Friday's edition of the show, last Friday's edition of the show, I got all kinds of messages on WhatsApp. People asking, John, I would like to have a copy of the. I didn't know when I became a distributor of the book, but I'm still. I've laid my hands on the soft copy, and I'm trying to make sure I get the hard copy for as many of my friends and colleagues who want to read the book. So I think this book might just rival the book that was released by Dele Farotimi, giving insight into Nigeria's judicial system. So, just to let you know, the show is live and interactive on all our social media platforms, and you can be part of the conversation simply by following and liking Rapid TV on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and of course, we are also on LinkedIn and TikTok. Don't forget, our handle is @OfficialRapidTV. And of course, the WhatsApp portal line is also live and active. You can send your views and comments and reactions via our WhatsApp portal, 0916-771-605. 0916-771-6035. That's the number, and you can be part of today's conversation. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people put pressure that they want to get a copy of the autobiography of General Ibrahim Babangida. Well, with the book coming 32 years after Babangida stepped aside on August 1993, it means that more than 70% of Nigerians were not witnesses of that event in the narratives given that the nation, in terms of the nation's young demography. So to a lot of young people, prior to Babangida's book, what the information they had was probably more of hearsay. Well, opinions are bound to be divided about Babangida's interpretation of some of the events, which discerning readers could argue leaves more questions than answers. And that naturally gives the basis to this morning's conversation of the show, because immediately after the launch of that book last week, the entire weekend was agog with reactions. I think, if you ask me, apart from maybe sports where the Tigers, they qualified for the Afro Basket, which was one of the biggest sporting stories, and of course the Premiership, the major stories that flooded social media was the aftermath, reactions, fallouts of that book. Now, while many have been highly critical of Babangida's interpretation of some of the events in his book, others have commended Babangida for revealing or confirming some self-evident truths in his epic book, A Journey in Service. First, that the 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup, as it had been tagged all this while, but somewhat of a revolution aimed at regime change and installing Obafemi Awolowo as the provincial president of the country, Nigeria. Now, in other words, it could be said that the coup was tactically or covertly geared to fostering ethnic domination. It was going to be a Yoruba domination, not an Igbo domination. Still, whether Igbo domination or Yoruba domination, the counter coup was overtly geared to northern or far northern domination, and it midwifed a horrid bloodlust and a total loss of compatriot spirit against the Igbos. Now, followed the narrative. The second, fact is that those who pervade the destructive lie that it was an Igbo coup were motivated by the desire to trigger an anti-Igbo ethnic tension on a national scale. Thirdly, that Nzogu, having been born and raised in Kaduna, not only did he speak Hausa very fluently, but was more Hausa than Igbo in his mannerism, values, and even in his worldwide view and attitude. That the ranks of the coup plotters and henchmen were vastly populated by officers who were not Igbo. Now, this was the most obvious clue that belied the lies, but it never mattered anymore because the die was cast for Igbo to pay the price ultimately. Now, fifthly, that an Igbo officer in the person of Anuforo assassinated another Igbo officer, Unegbe, who rallied against the coup, and another Igbo officer, Obienu, played a key role in halting the coup, but when Obienu was later to be hounded and murdered by northern soldiers, it didn't matter to them that he had put his life on the line to foil the supposed quote-unquote Igbo coup. The only thing that mattered was that he was Igbo and therefore must die. The sixth fact is that the palpable tension between Ojukwu and Gowon stemmed from Ojukwu's altruistic insistence that the most senior officer, a Yoruba top brass military officer named Babafemi Ogundipe, should, in accordance with time, honored military traditions, be the next head of state after Ironsi's gruesome assassination in the counter coup. So, as a matter of backward logical correlation, if the first coup was an Igbo coup, driven by the ambition for Igbo domination, as it was suggested or has been suggested, why would Ojukwu, an alpha male and the ultimate Igbo man, take the great risk of insisting that a Yoruba man should be the next head of state following the second coup? And then now, the seventh fact, that Ojukwu declared Biafra because Gowon proved unwilling to protect the trapped Igbos who were innocently, the target of something they had little or no knowledge about. In other words, Biafra was not an unlawful rebellion, but a bulwark against I didn't want to use this word, but I haven't been able to get a word to change it. Against a genocide or last resort to self-preservation. So, to look at this more in-depthly with me is a man who wears many caps. I just got to find out today he wears several caps, but he is foremost a journalist and, of course, a public affairs analyst of repute. My very good friend and brother, Ibrahim Garba. Ibrahim, it's great to have you join us this morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me again.
Well, Ibrahim, I know you followed this development, but let me ask you, have you been able to lay your hands on former head of state, Ibrahim Babangida's book?
No, the answer is no.
But you've seen excerpts of the book?
Yeah, I've seen so many, is this excerpts, I'll call them. I've been following the trend on social media. And I've read some parts, and I don't know the angle to which it's coming from. So for me, that book, the timing is wrong.
Why do you say the timing is wrong?
Because
Because I wanted to ask you what your reaction is to the revelation first about the annulment of June 12th. Many say we are not. It's not coming as a surprise because it's as if it is the most commonly known fact amongst Nigerians that he annulled June 12th. But the details as to why the annulment is now emerging. Beyond that, other details. He's recounting his own or giving his own interpretations to events prior to and even after.
You see, John, let me start again from where I stopped. Why I say it's wrong timing. The issue of annulment, we all know about, it's no longer news to us, Nigerians, except those Gen Zs who were not privileged to know what happened at that time. This year, 2025, I see it as a year we are trying to heal old wounds. It's not to expose these wounds again, because we are trying to outlive our past. Nigeria today is like sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Anything can happen and to implode. So we want to avoid all those instances. Former President Babangida is at the exit gate.
That isn't that probably why he seems to be, he wants to free himself. Because we all know in recent years his health has diminished.
Yes.
And he feels he could go at any time. He doesn't want to go with this burden.
No.
He doesn't want to go without, being heard.
No. There are so many sides to this story. And I'll look at it, I'll try to narrow it in a way that this conversation will not take longer time. There are more sides to it. Writing a book at this time, like I say, that is exit gate. We have had the likes of Adebanjo, who has left us. Then recently Edwin Clark. These are great people that we always ask, we always rely on, every once in a while to consult on national issues. So we have few of them around us now, like Buhari and all that. So we all know what transpired at that time. So putting it in details, to me, is not Holy Bible or Quran. This is something written by a few individuals based on an agreement. My opinion, you are against your opinion. Now, whatever I say should be considered final. No. There are sides to it. To me, it's something that requires an open debate, bringing all sides to the issue. The Nigerian president is a beneficiary of these arguments.
Yes.
Because I score him high, Tinubu, because in his time, we are begin to see confessions. In his time, we are beginning to see the so-called big heads, answering questions, national questions, and people are confessing. Why is it happening now? Because he knows them very well. He has been with them behind the scenes, studying the whole situation. And it took him almost 30-something years to come up this level. So if books like this are being written, that means there's something about it. It's beyond mere confession. What I expect Buhari, or rather Babangida, to have done is open confession. Why I failed. That should be the title of the book.
Of the book, rather than a journey in service.
Nigerians, forgive me. We don't need to hear other stories. How Nzegu did this and did that. These are things that are no longer relevant. We're not talking about coup or counter coups.
But you forget that Ndigbo have continued to nurse
this injury.
No,
it's true.
It's yet to heal.
Who will heal these wounds?
It's yet to heal.
The book cannot heal these wounds.
The fact that a lie was sold that Nigeria has gone down this route simply because the Igbos wanted to dominate.
No, it's not about, I wouldn't want to say a lie. We're all part of the planet. If you are looking at it diplomatically or democratically, it's about inclusion. Politics, as we play today, is about numbers and how your national spread. So if I'm coming out for a public office, do I have a national spread? Am I acceptable to the people? And that is why democracy gives us a platform to advertise ourselves and prove that we have the capacity to lead. So it cut across your human relations, the friends you kept across the Niger from every part of the country. Check now, most of the leaders we have today, they were not imposed on us. We voted them into power through negotiations. So that is why even last election, nobody gave Peter Obi a chance coming from the southeast.
Exactly.
But we saw what he did and the numbers he was able to accumulate. So it's beyond ethnic politics. It's about, yes, because everybody is qualified.
Because, I mean,
John,
right
I don't
now,
want us to do away with how we started this thing.
Okay.
Because I'm still not happy about two things.
Okay, what are those two things?
Number one, that you are claiming that it's not an Igbo queue or whatever. We don't need to hear that now. Then number two is single out an individual responsible for annulment, which is General Sani Abacha. I'm not happy with these two narratives because you are putting us back. You know, you are trying to cause chaos because with these statements, you are dividing the nation more. There will be more agitation because people want to find out. Even the younger person will find out what really happened. Tell us more. There's more to it. So the pressure is coming back to me now. And he has so many questions to answer. So the way and manner he presented this book as if it's the alpha, the omega, if he speaks, all generals listen, no. He made many billionaires. But what Abacha did was making technocrats, people that are responsible and disciplined in their army.
So
there are two types. No. John, coup is a coup. All of them are guilty. What I expect them to do, or Tinubu would have done, is come with your handcuff. Babangida
so you support the clamor that Babangida should go to jail?
Yes.
To answer for his crimes?
Yes, for his crime, war crimes. Maybe ICC, because we will not spare him for that, for saying all these things. Prove it to us. How it happened. A coup is an arrangement within the military officer that somebody must lead, somebody must take risk, somebody must lose his or her life. And in the process, what is Babangida telling us? I'm still aware, and I'm still, although I'm young at that time, in Makodi, when he raided Tell magazine for a publication that's supposed to come out concerning looting that was taking place at that time, John. I was aware. I came out, I got a copy. How I smuggled it to the office, nobody knew about it. He raided the outlets, and that copy never got sold. It's one of the biggest revelations by Daily Giwa and Newswatch at that time, and Tell magazine. So we know what happened, what transpired, how people lost their lives. Is this a Jibo crash? So many people, so many things happened. Why is he not talking about that time he spent in office? Now you are talking single out June 12th. To placate the Yorubas or to cause problem that, yes, after Tinubu, nobody should come again. No, it's about quality. It's about good governance, which Nigerians are expecting. The nation is not stable. And again, you gathered a few people because you made them multi-billionaires today. They are coming to design for a welfare or a library. When was the last time you visited the library? So what I expect Babangida to have done is open confession. And again, I'm trying to leave behind something that will be useful for mankind. I'm setting up a foundation. If you want to help me, help Nigerians. I'm setting up a foundation that will take care of the welfare of Nigerians. And at the same time, these stories, I want it to end so that we'll start a new Nigeria and a new template.
You said something that you expected a Tinubu to come with his hands cupped. But the Tinubu confessed, it's all over the news, that if not for people like Babangida, he wouldn't be a direct beneficiary.
It's a table talk. It happens.
No, but it's out there. And the interpretation
Tinubu,
of that.
By all standards, President Tinubu, let me tell you this. He was behind the scene. He's in a better position to respond and explain what really transpired at that time. We know how people from the Southwest and some other parts of the country, military generals, worked against the emergence of MK Abiola. It's not what has been written there. There are so many facts that have not been.
So do you think a Tinubu has the political will, as we've always said, to put a General Ibrahim Babangida behind bars?
Indirectly, there's a way you can handle it. It's simple. With your open, I like Obasanjo's comments. There's more to it now. Okay, Tinubu, yes, it's not for him to say he's a direct beneficiary. We'll learn from masters of the game, because as it stands now, you have to be a little bit forceful and at the same time enforce laws to happen. And it's happening in Tinubu's time, because if you can go out of your way to say, look, Oshun election must not hold, that's authoritarian. And there are so many instances we see happening now that sometimes it's a little bit militant in approach, which we don't want. But Nigerians, at the same time, they want you, to govern by laws, and they want you to respect them, and at the same time, make lives easier for them. So at this juncture, if you look at the organogram, the way it was scripted, the narratives around that book, within the next 2-3 months, we'll continue to talk about it. And it may shape what will happen in 2027.
I agree with you. I was going to come to that, because you had touched a bit on it. That yes. The motive behind that book is still not clear.
It's not clear.
Is it to further, divide the country, or try to, what's the word now? Pinpoint a particular individual, as the case may be, because varied interpretations to that book, or whatever excerpts of that book that Nigerians have gotten access to, is seriously gearing towards what direction, what may happen in 2027.
John, okay. We have seen it. It's a gathering of few fellows and people, multi-billionaires who, yes, Babangida helped some people like Dangote. I know how Dangote started through his mother, Hajia Maria, who visited him and requested that he should support her son. That is history now. Yes, a lot of people benefited through oil mining license and all that. No problem. And gifting us the Federal Capital Territory, no problem. And structural adjustment program, no problem. You traded Nigeria for 25 years, no problem. These are history, because you took that decision at that time because it was necessary. Now, coming to the issue of the coup, which you are talking about, I'll look at it. These two people, General Babangida and Abacha, what do they have in common? Well, yes, General Babangida has the economy at heart. He felt Buhari was not smart enough and is too authoritarian. So he needs somebody that will serve as a go-between. Let us have a stable society so that there will be respect for, mankind. There will be no abuse, human rights abuses and all that. No problem. That is why you took over power. But again, you wouldn't have succeeded with a friend, a loyal friend, a true friend who always take the bullet because of you, General Sani Abacha. Go through his record, right? You cannot write off, because the modern military we have today, Abacha sowed that seed for us to be, confident, for us to have an artillery that is defensive, and a Nigerian army that is respected across the world. Because in this time, Nigerian army was ranked next to German army in terms of intelligence, might, and all that. Now, the same Abacha, in his time in office, fought for an African Union, paying our debts, and he wants Nigerian to be free from bondage. Life was a little bit easier. Whereas we have, civil society organizations who were fighting him because of the June 12th, not necessarily because he is in power. There are two sides to it. Give him his mandate. And again, he won. He said, look, I'm not responsible for June 12th. I am not. I came in because Nigeria was like a sinking ship. You cannot rule Nigeria by proxy from the, Transcorp Hotel. So Nigeria is beyond that, the most populous black nation on earth. So when he took over, we knew what, today they call him names. I was discussing.
Exactly.
Now, I was discussing with somebody, and I want people to verify closely without sentiment.
Because Abacha has been painted the black goat.
Let me make this point clear to Nigerians, please. Abacha never stole your money.
So where all that money that they
These
claim,
are privileges of office. Quote me anywhere, and I stand by my words. Because we have people who are still alive that work with him. I don't want to call names. Even in this government today, the most disciplined people in this government are Abacha boys. They are there. These are people he helped. These are people he trained. These are people that, seeing them by virtue of their discipline, you know they are qualified Nigerians, they can lead anywhere. Who is old-fashioned? And he made it clear that, look, Nigeria can be great. And that is why he said, look, the only way Nigeria can be on its feet is to be independent. What was the price of a naira to a dollar at that time? Nigeria, Abacha, our debt, it was almost going down to zero. If he had paid the last one, we would have been at par with US and the European Union. But before that, they need to hasten his debt. So I don't want us to start building these false narratives against someone, even if the system that brought him to power is the same system that brought others into power. Coup is a coup, all in the name of correctional government that they want to, and politicians provide them the gateway to, come in.
I was going to ask, because right now, politicians like Tinubu and a host of others seem to be relishing this moment. They seem to, have slipped into oblivion. The focus is no longer on them. But as you said, for those of us who grew up in that era, we knew that politicians played hand in hand with the military juntas.
It's a synergy now. You need me, I need you. And again, at the same time, we need the judiciary, to provide us a cover. And the judiciary did very well at that time because, yes, rule of law was sustained and justices were dispensed without provocation, without any form of prejudice. That was established. The only factor is that, and again, I will always remind Nigerians that during the military, why is it necessary? Why is it so easy, for good governance? States were created. Local government administration was in full control. And there was no issues around corruption and all that, because if you are caught, you'll be hanged. Today, there's massive looting and you pay your way out and all that. Nigeria is too rich for all those things. And that is why I faulted this publication. Yes, he has the right to tell the world his own
side of the story.
But again, it's not for me to believe what you are saying to me, because I'm not a baby. And so many Nigerians are laying ambush to that. There will be a response to IBB very soon, coming from different quarters.
Are we expecting Buhari to also
no, Buhari will
release
not
a
write.
book?
Buhari will not write, because
how come a Baba, Obasanjo, he has written several books, but he has never written a book in the nature of what we've seen
It's a no-go area for Obasanjo, because Obasanjo was packaged and delivered to Nigerians by Abdul Salami in 1999.
Yes.
As a, compensation for the Southwest. Pacify them with this. And the hero of this modern democracy is no other person but Abdul Salami Abubakar. We should celebrate him.
But he's also been fingered.
Even if he's fingered, but he took the bull by the horn and said Nigeria must return to democracy.
Civil rule.
Civil rule. You must give him that respect. He deserved the respect, not all these other names that are being bandied around. Okay, he has the vision that Nigeria can be great and be great again. And all these conflicts, all these agitations can take the backseat for a national reconciliation. Oputa panel was set up.
Yes.
For national reconciliation, we have chief justices coming to speak. We have responsible Nigerians talking to Nigerians, and the Nigerians are listening. You see, Nigerians are very easy to manage. Tell them the truth, be kind to them. Nobody will even talk about the center. But whereas the lifestyle of our people, there's the overrich, the overpoor, the very poor, that gap makes people to complain as if nothing happened. Okay, You are giving out 5 billion. You are giving out 8 billion for a library that we see will not even exist. Use this money now. Set up a foundation. Okay, go around the schools. If this is the legacy that Babangida want to leave for us, he has done well. I will not fault him for that. But again, he should take further steps now that it's about the exit point. Because as a Muslim, you'll be questioned on the day of judgment what you've done, what you failed to do as a leader, and what you're leaving behind you. So what will go for you is the water people drink from the well or from the tap, the food people eat because of you, the knowledge you provided because of a foundation, and all that. These are things that will help you in your grave. But we will not want, I don't belong to the school of thought that we should begin to fault our leaders because we agreed to give them the mandate. Even at present, I will not fault Mr. President. For me, I see him as a very, very smart politician because all what is happening now, Tinubu never planned it. It's happening naturally on its own because one, they knew the power he wields as the commander-in-chief. If you are in that office, anything you say happens. That is one. Then number two, a lot of monies have been stolen. Dubious deals have taken place. Oil licenses have been given to cronies. And Tinubu said, I want to recover Nigeria. So if I want to recover Nigeria and you are trapped in that, I may come for you. Because the Tinubu is not your friend. Tinubu is not your enemy. Tinubu wants to make history. And the only time, the opportunity he has is now or never. But again, it depends on how he plays cards.
His personal ambition to be the Awo of the 21st century, is that what is giving birth to his approach to governance?
He has the opportunity to do that. But if he fails, it's on his own. Because 2027 is still pregnant. And he should watch some of these ambience, these narratives that are coming out on a daily basis. Now, go around and do sampling. People are vexed. Now, there are two things you manage. These revelations and the state of the economy. Which one will you handle? And the politicians that are breaking out. How many politicians are with Tinubu today? There's a lot to it that meets the eye, John.
All right. My guest did mention the Oputa panel. It so happens that we have an excerpt of the Oputa panel that gives some context to our conversation this morning. Let's see that video. And when we come back, the conversation continues. It's been, you could say, 3 editions of historic conversations on Korero. And trust us, as always, to do our best of bringing the issues to the front burner. But let's go to the years of the Oputa panel before the advent of Big Brother.
Now, when you are, from the records, we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
No, you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lapsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath.
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
Now, do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man. I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military incursion into democratic rule in Nigeria.
Very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having after that.
Okay. Now the Ohaneze petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17th. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book, which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There's nothing called
Listen coup. Now, those who planned the coup,
they are coup plotters.
Yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who planned the jihad or your own, those who planned...
You talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen,
and it's so well recorded.
No, it's no question of well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohaneze petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's all I want you to clear to the commission.
The book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement?
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual, let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual,
my lord, I want you to answer my question.
On his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best.
Right. Excerpt of the Oputa panel. There was a time for the Gen Zs, I need to establish this. There was a time where there was no Big Brother. Our version of Big Brother was the Oputa panel. Everybody rushed home to be able to watch the Oputa panel because but I'm happy that under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has asked that history become an integral part of our curriculum. I'm hoping that historians will take this opportunity to rewrite, just like the Americans have done, to rewrite the history of Nigeria so that the Gen Zs can truly understand how we have consistently evolved. We've been through a lot as a nation. Now, even what was tagged as a civil war is being suggested to be a genocide. So, as my guest has said, there are several conversations that will continue to emanate because questions upon questions are being asked. Anyway, recently, an official gazette surfaced from the then federal military government that confirmed that Chief Obafemi Awolowo was released and pardoned by Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon on August 12, 1966, 10 days after his actual release on August 2nd, 1966. Now, the document puts to rest claims by Radio Biafra that Lieutenant Colonel Emeka Ojukwu or Major General Agu Ironsi played any role in securing Awo's freedom. Now, according to the document, upon his release from Calabar prison, Awolowo was received in Lagos by Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed, who personally drove him to Dodan Barracks to meet with the head of state, Lieutenant Colonel Gowon. However, the journey from the airport proved challenging as a massive crowd organized by Alhaja Asabi Abibat Mogaji, mother of Nigeria's current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, flooded the streets to welcome the revered statesman. Now, the Gazette also refutes any suggestion that the coup plotters of January 15, 1966, including Majors Chukwuma Nzogu and Emmanuel Ifeajuna, and attempted to release Awolowo. In fact, there is no record of them making any effort to contact or rescue him from detention. Some analysts have argued that Awolowo had been politically active at the time. He might have been among those executed during the coup. So he was fortunate to have escaped that. And this revelation further solidified Gowon's role in shaping Nigeria's political landscape during a tantamount period, while also challenging revisionist narrative surrounding Awolowo's release. I still have my guest in the studio, Ibrahim Garba, and some youths from Ohaneze Ndigbo have, before this official gazette, said even Gowon has questions to answer. And you know, you rightly said it. There are generations who don't have they just heard stories, but they do not have the details. So right now, everybody is being fingered, you know, and then here comes the book, Johnny in Service, by the controversial IBB. Some people, even in the media, conversations, editorials have suggested that the Maradona has done it again. He is Maradonaing Nigerians again. So, how do you react to this revelation that Chief Obafemi Awolowo was released and pardoned by Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, and rather than the claims that by Radio Biafra that Lieutenant Colonel Emeka Njogu or Major General Agui Ronsi played any role in securing Awolowo's release?
You see, John, this time you are talking about, even I was not born at that time.
Same here.
From the books we read and from the literatures available, we're made to understand that, you see, from independence to the First Republic, there were a lot of arguments, superior arguments, among the superior ethnic groups in this country. And the center stage is the military barracks. Because they were the first to gain fame, they were the first to know about leadership. They were the first to be exposed.
Hello Rapid TV, my name is Kunle Remy.
Hello Rapid TV, my name is William Sichemba.
My name is Choma Chukuka.
Hello Rapid TV, my name is Stananze.
Hello Rapid TV, my name is Vivian Glam Gabriel.
Hello Rapid TV, my name is Jide Kene.
Hi Rapid TV, my name is Steve Chooks.
Best Afrobeat song will go to The Bunch and Snoop Dogg, Oliver Twist.
Piece of my heart, Whiskey.
Right now, we'll probably be Grateful by Fino.
My favorite Afrobeat song is Afrobeat.
I can't, there's so much.
It has to be one of our Rasta songs.
I love a lot of them. I don't think I have a favorite Afrobeat song right now. I cannot pick. I
can't pop.
Living in Bondage.
It has to be between Blood Sisters and Lionhearts.
I don't have favorite anything. I have favorite food. I have favorite colors. I barely have favorite any other thing.
Oh my God. Living in Bondage. The first one. I'm not a child.
Right now, a ghetto love story.
Okay, my favorite Nigerian dish would be
Panga stew with rice.
Come on now, Okwa.
Pounded yam and egusi soup.
Beans and plantain.
Is oha soup. Fufu and oha soup. Thank you.
Brother.
It's still Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, Korero. We apologize for that glitch. These things do happen, but the conversation continues. Now, Ibrahim, I know your flow of thought was stopped abruptly.
Yes. Like I said earlier on, there were so many narratives around it. And within the barracks, there was this superiority complex by ranking and by ideologies. Ojukwu is one of the most high-ranking members, well-educated at that time, and he deserves his own respect. But again, just like you, the ambience from the Oputu panel, which we are hearing, we are seeing so many revelations and concerning the Igbo and all that. I think at this point in time, we need to begin to carry out what we call a national reorientation and reintegration, because we should see ourselves as one family, and we should see ourselves as good negotiators.
But wasn't that what President Goodluck Jonathan was trying to achieve with the confab?
Yes, and yes, and yes. But was he able to achieve that? Because one, to solve this problem is simple. For me, let us go back to our constitution, let us go back to the National Assembly and think out one thing, one term of 8 years. And this one term of 8 years, we should divide this into 6 zones. So when you are done with this zone, you move it to another zone. Now, if we can do that now, because 4 years is not enough for you to actualize your plans and what to impact on Nigerians. And that is why it becomes too expensive for us to manage our politics and all that. Because as it stands, Tinubu, Mr. President, as it stands, have that courage. And I believe he can do something about it. And with the members of the National Assembly we have, it's time for us to look at eyeball in the eyeball, put sentiment aside. Why not try it out? 6 years may not be enough. 8 years is good. Then when that is done, we'll be able to correct these imbalances. And again, there should be a caveat, whereby immunity will totally be removed from Mr. President. If you're doing it wrongly, we'll remove you through popular votes. Nigerians don't have that time. If you remove this immunity clause, that's the first leg to achieving that. Make it mandatory for every region to produce a president for 8 years. And even within the region, there must be a selective process, not by age or credentials, but by national spread. You must have been tested, and trusted. And all that. So if we have good brains around us, but now as I'm talking to you with what we are feeling from Mina, everywhere, everybody is agitating towards 2027. We don't have time to get, things on track. This man, he has between now and December to do many things. But again, the pressure that is coming from the opposition camps, from Nigerians and everywhere, from these revelations, is going to cause a lot of diversion. We are going to overheat the polity. So that is why the only safety net is for us to agree, okay, it has gone to the North has enjoyed it. Now it's the turn of the Southwest. Let them continue for 8 years. Then we'll move it to Southeast. 8 years, we'll come back to the South-South, North-Central. These issues will be resolved once and for all.
Well, to wrap up today's edition of Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, Korero, first is to bring some closure or comfort to all Igbos, because the major fallout as it is and as it reflects across both social media and conventional media is the fact that the Igbos have been robbed wrongly, so to say. So, to bring some closure or comfort to all Igbos, we must, who have borne the burden of this destructive suggestion for over half a century, then secondly, the hope that new revelations will help to protect the future from the disdain that has festered against, again, the Igbos since this narrative of an Igbo coup was propagandized to a national truth that has haunted Ndigbo from generation to generation. And that's why, and that may be the answer to quelling the Biafra agitation.
Yes.
That just may be the solution to quelling the Biafra. So what is it, for what it's worth, Ndigbo deserves national contrition and political recompense from official Nigeria. This should include ceasing and desisting from the ongoing persecutions fronted as of any Igbo that has risen or rises against the myriad of anti-Igbo injustice that have characterized political Nigeria, such as the disparities we have seen in state creation, location of seaports, the national budget, power sharing, basic infrastructure such as roads, rail, just to mention a few. Don't forget, just last week, there were agitations in the House of Representatives when they looked at the budget.
Yes.
That Southeast was not represented in the budget with regards to rail lines, road constructions, and we're talking major road constructions.
And we're talking about commerce.
Exactly.
Because most of these narratives you see springing up, that is why I don't want to use this word being marginalized. You see, we should think nationally, economically. We should plan. And if we are talking about national planning, it's without sentiments. You start it from areas of comparative advantage. Within the Southeast, if you, like what is happening in the Edo State today, Auchi, Benin Road and all that, it has been there for a long time. The present governor has activated that. We want to see the same thing being replicated in the Southeast. Southeast today is supposed to be destination for commerce in the country, competing with Lagos, just like Calabar. So if we set up another, economic zone, it will prosper and it will be additional value to Nigeria. So it's not about being sentimental. What should give us, we should leverage upon. And that is why I keep saying, I don't want us to use the word marginalization. I don't want to use the word it is our turn. I want us to focus on national policy, national development, and do something that will resonate across board. Because you and I go to Southeast to trade.
True.
People from Southeast move to the North to trade. Why are they coming out to trade? It's because that place is no longer conducive. But if we make it fertile, a lot of people will move there, development. Look at what is happening in Enugu State today. So it's about time for us to focus more.
On national development.
Diasporans are coming back home to invest in Southeast. So all they want is provide them the infrastructure. We can build rail lines, we can build airports, seaports, and all that in those places. Then invest more in the middle belt. Nigeria is a very big nation. So it's not about who should be at the center. It's about something that will give us value for what we have and what we need.
True words, true words. Well, in the same vein, Ndigbo also deserve a deep-felt personal atonement from the prime actors who concocted the misrepresentation of the quoted Igbo coup and then dubiously turned around to use it as an anchor to launch what has been called a civil war. That nearly succeeded in wiping out the Igbo race if Biafra had not been declared. So if they are not sure how to atone, they should borrow a leaf from Babangida. At least he came out. He has given his own side of the story. So hopefully the contrition, recompense, and atonement, if sincere, may just be the magic tonic that could persuade Ndigbo to pedal back from strong temptation of seeking an alternative to a Nigeria. History, they say, vindicates the truth. Special thanks to my guests. Ibrahim, thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate having this conversation this morning. And of course, special thanks to you for allowing us be a part of your morning. We started the week on a historic note. I know maybe this is good because I think this will boost Nigeria's reading culture. For years now, there have been talks about the fact that Nigeria's reading culture has seriously dipped. So maybe one of the good things, the good take-homes from the former head of state's recently launched book is the fact that every Nigerian, regardless of age and demographic, demography will want to read the book. So let's all read the book. I just read on social media where somebody said, when Dele Farotimi came out with his book highlighting what's happened in the judiciary, he was jailed. Now, General has come out to tell some historic facts that, we're seeing different sides to all of this development. And the days ahead promise some very interesting developments. So, as always, we promise to keep our ears to the ground and our searchlight beamed on developments as they evolve. And so, till we come your way with another incisive edition of Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, Korero, I am Nkamian John the Beloved, also known as the Controversial, signing out.